Bridges, twin bridges, 15 series 80/20, straddling each wheel well. We knew these bridges were coming, so we doubled up on the floor joists underneath our subfloor. So we're transferring this weight directly down through the plywood, through the joist to the chassis floor. We're not sitting in the middle of two joists and bowing that plywood. We got a lot of weight here. We're going to be putting in 3/8 inch bolts with washers all the way through the chassis floor, through the plywood, through the joist, down to the chassis floor. Big nuts, big washers, prime sealed, and then we're going to undercoat under there. So the way these bridges are going to be fastened is we've got bolts with plus nuts going into the side walls of the chassis to prevent this. And then we've got both sets of legs on each bridge tied down with 3 bolts through 1/4 inch angle through the chassis. They're not going anywhere. We're trying to fight inertia because we've raised the center of gravity by bringing these up. This is a 50-gallon water tank. 50 gallons of water, including the weight of the tank, you're almost 450 pounds. Now, we're going to have our access hatches, 2 access hatches in this water tank. We're going to fill this tank with those wiffle balls. Okay, fill it. And what that's going to do, it's going to eat up about 5 gallons of water space, right? The volume of these wiffle balls is going to displace 5 gallons of water. And then our sending unit, we have a sender that we put down through the top of the tank, and it rides up and down on a shaft as the water goes up and down. That tells us whether we're full or empty on the gauge. So now, because we've got those wiffle balls in here that could cause a problem with that sliding up and down, we're going to encase that in a 4-inch cylinder with holes in it. So now that is going to be solid and free inside that caisson, that cylinder, and all the balls are around it. Perfect. It'll be working uninterrupted. On this side, we've got 2 Mamalukes, the new Lithionics 630 amp hour battery, okay? This time I'm going with internal BMS, internal heating pads, okay? So these batteries don't have that big external BMS to deal with. They've just got their terminals. So I'm going to tie these in parallel, not series. You cannot tie these into series and go from 12 to 24 volt. That's a no-no. So we're going to have 1,260 amp hours of battery, which is a little over 16,000 watts of power. We rose the center of gravity in the van by bringing these weights up. So we wanted to make sure we tied them down. They are straddling the axle. There is no better place to put your heavy weight in the van than right over the rear axle. So this is ideal. Ideal. We're going to have an uninterrupted clear span for the bed. We're going to be using our I-beams again, 4-inch aluminum I-beams. These are aluminum I-beams. This particular beam is a 4-inch I-beam made out of aluminum. They're very, very sturdy, very structural. I use these in the back of the van when we have a fixed bed to create a garage. I'm now using these spanning the entire distance from one side of the van to the other. There's no need for any center supports. Now, if you know you're going to be building shelving or any kind of pull-out trays, then by all means use your center supports, and you won't need these I-beams because you'll have those structural support points as you cross the span. But in Sam's van, and in Dr. Stevens' van, Mr. and Mrs. Sprinter, we went with a clear span, so I used the I-beams, which means that all this area is open garage space to the bulkhead. Where's that bulkhead? Here it is. So right to here, that's right, of course, because we also put a set of joists right under the bulkhead. So right here's the bulkhead, but because this is wide open and unencumbered, The bulkheads here, we're gonna be able to put a big, beautiful drawer-style microwave down the end of the aisle here. A drawer. I've been dying to put it in a drawer microwave. Here it is. We've got the room. So the microwave will go here. My water heater goes here. My Aqua Hot goes here. 3 zones of heating. We got radiant under the floor. This is going to be a beast. We've got the 3,000 watt pneumatic cooling DC air conditioner back here over the berth. We've got the Houghton 3400 Bel Air. That's a 13,000 BTU, 120 volt AC air conditioner up front. That's right, you heard me. 2 air conditioners and then the Max Air fan in the middle. Isn't that crazy? The bed is going to be supported off of 1/4-inch angle that is plus nutted into the frame of the chassis. We're using the holes that the builder's guide tells you to use when you're adding any weight or shelving in the van. So we've got that 1/4-inch aluminum angle, 1 on each side. I love this. Debbie and John from She to Me came this week for their cardboard walkthrough. They drove all the way from California to come to the cardboard walkthrough. Now that's a trip. That's a dedicated couple, seasoned as they may be. The changes were minimal. The cardboard walkthrough went like a breeze. Couple of issues. We had built our garage and our bike tray for a set of measurements on their bikes that proved to be incorrect. Originally, we thought you'd be able to take the handlebars and the seat off the bike and get some lower height on it. That wasn't the case. You got to leave the handlebars and the seat on. The only thing we can do is turn, take the front wheel off, turn the handlebars. It turned out we have to take off 1 pedal from each side of the bike, and we had to widen our bike tray from 16 to 22 inches, which is not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. I have to get them a little smaller water tank. We were 37 gallons with a Mama Luke battery next to it. We can't do that since we widened this bike tray. The battery fits, instead of a 37-gallon tank, we're going with a 31. That's not terrible. I think right now they're using 21 or 24. So this is an improvement. That's the only change we had to make back here. Up front, things were even easier. To my surprise, Debbie said, take out that dresser that had those nice drawers and that extra countertop. I don't need it. So I sat in the back inconsolable for about 5 minutes, and then we took the dresser out. We replaced it with a nice hamper pantry that was over here. And we cut it down to bed height so John could still get his feet across it if he needed to. Here's the fridge. Here's the shower. The toilet will remain as a fixture in the shower. It is not removable. We don't need a step. We don't need a lift up recessed shower pan. We're going to have a flush infinity shower pan. And when they need a shower, they put in the little knee wall, similar to what I did in van number 1. I've only got a 2-inch shower pan here. So in order to keep the water inside, I've got a knee wall that I deploy, and then there's one more piece that fits inside back here. Now, the water knows where to go. When you bring the shower curtain around, it's going to stay inside the shower pan. Pull the curtain around. Yes, the curtain will still be hidden, and they'll take their shower. Simple, very simple. Debbie is ordering a really slick urine diverter from Europe. Urine diverter from Europe. Wait to see that. You will see that. Fixed right here. We're going to disguise it so it looks like a bench, an ottoman, a stool. We're going to have a nice flip-up table with the swivel seats. They can face one another. It's a dinette during the day, and it's a shower by night. The Mini-Me, I've got my physical plan under the bed all wired up, ready to go. And now the next step is to plumb and wire the galley. All our woodwork is done. We've got the sink all piped in and ready to drop in the galley. And Ron did a beautiful job with our fiddle rail or backsplash if you're a landlubber. But that is a solid walnut backsplash. And we've got matching walnut edge banding on our countertops.